All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you have done it. You have reached it to the end of chapter 2. Let's take a look at the review vocabulary so you can study this and come in well prepared for Wednesday's test. Midpoint. It's a point in the middle of 2 points. And so for an example, we often see something like this. And so we would say M is the midpoint. And the reason we know that is because they put these congruency marks. We know AM is equal to B. Segment bisector can be a line or segment that cuts a segment, I should say divide, but that cuts a segment into 2 equal parts. Okay? And so what we'll see there is it has to be a segment, so it's going to use A and B. It has to have a beginning and an end point. And so then we could say something like line TS bisects segment AB. And we know that because we'll show A and each side being congruent there. An angle bisector is a ray that, I don't use it this time, that divides an angle into 2 equal angles. And so what we want to do for this one is we're going to be able to live a lot of our vocab here. Okay, so if we take a look at this, what this means is that we have an angle and we can call that angle A, B at the vertex, and then C. And then what we're going to add into it is a ray BD. And so what that means is this angle is congruent to this angle. All right. What that also means is that the measure of angle ABD is equal to 1/2 the measure of angle ABC. Okay, so when we divide it in half, each of them, when we bisect the angle with the ray, each angle that we create is 1/2 of the larger angle in our measure. Okay? Alright, so if we take a look then, we have complementary angles or complements. These are 2 angles with a sum of 90 degrees. So remember, we can take the corner of your paper. So the corner here is 90 degrees. So corner and complement are both 90 degrees. We have supplementary angles. These are going to be two angles. Say sum of 180 degrees. So we want to think of like a straight line, the side of your paper. These two angles add up to 180 degrees. So this side of your paper, a straight angle, the side and supplement go together. Adjacent angles, two angles that share a side. Alright, so they have to be touching each other. So angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent to each other. A theorem is a statement proven true by postulates, properties, and definitions. All right. Vertical angles are two angles created by intersected lines and they are congruent. And so what that means is we intersect two lines, the two green lines, and we have angle 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go around clockwise, we say the measure of angle 1 is congruent to the measure of angle 3. They make these two distinct V's. Alright? We would then say that the measure of angle 2 is congruent to the measure of angle 4. The measure of angle 2 is congruent to the measure of angle 4. Linear pair, two adjacent angles. So that's what's important for us to remember. They have to be adjacent with a sum of 180 degrees. So a linear pair has to look like this. Alright? So angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. If then statement is just an assumption, with a prediction. Okay? So if you study, then you get better grades. Alright, it has an if and a then. So hypothesis is the if statement. Alright, and that's your assumption. What you're going to assume. So I assumed you're going to study for the test. The conclusion is the then statement. Okay? And that's your prediction. I'm going to predict that you do better on the test or you get better grades. All right, you guys will then have a review assignment to go with this.